Well, hello, Merry Christmas and welcome along to Old Trafford for this Boxing Day fixture between Manchester United and Newcastle United. These two teams have actually met 4 times on Boxing Day here at Old Trafford since 2012. We'll get to those games in a little bit. Manchester United got a very good record in those games, winning in all 3. So hopefully we can go on and continue that record tonight. Wes Brown is alongside me outside of Old Trafford. Wes, Merry Christmas. How are you?
Merry Christmas, mate. Very good. I've eaten too much, mate. But other than that, it's a lovely day and I'm looking forward to this game, yeah.
Well, Boxing Day always has a special ring to it, doesn't it? You must have your fair share of memories of playing on a Boxing Day. I
used to love it, you know. It used to be better when it was at home. Obviously, you're not away, you don't have to go to a hotel somewhere where you don't know where you are, but it's just always a special time. Like I said, there's a lot of games. And obviously playing Newcastle on Boxing Day is a big, big game. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
It's a huge game, isn't it? And I think as the players, you can see them getting off the coach now. They're going to be so excited, under the lights as well, on Boxing Day, to be the only game as well, which is quite rare for Premier League to only have 1 game on Boxing Day.
Yeah, it is, and normally it's a 3 o'clock kickoff as well, so they've changed the time, so the lads, they've had to wait all day for this, but believe me when I say it, it's a special occasion. I think we played really well last time, very unlucky, so I'm really looking forward to see what we can do, but hopefully it's a good win and everybody enjoys it.
Will any of these lads eating too much yesterday?
I doubt that.
Proper professionals. They'll have been training yesterday, weren't they?
Yeah, listen, I think when you're playing, you still stick to your regime. You know, you still eat everything. You probably still have some Christmas dinner, but probably not as much as me and you, Ben. So I'm sure they would have respected. You have to respect that as a footballer, and just do what you normally do. You know.
Were you a fan of training on Christmas Day, or did you always hope that the gaffer would give you the pass, give you it off?
Do you know what? I think after a while, he sort of asked us, would you like to come in a little bit later, or would you like us to train early to then get back home? So, yeah, sometimes he gives us an option if he was in a good mood. But, like I said, you're used to it. You've been used to it since you was a kid. So, you know, it was pretty much the norm, but it is a little bit different for people who sort of have to work or do sports on a sort of a Christmas Day, Boxing Day.
It's kind of part of the fun as well, isn't it? As we're very lucky to be here to watching the lads walking ahead of this big game tonight. Let's throw it back to recent games. I'm talking the 4-4 draw against Bournemouth, the defeat to Villa last week, because there's been a lot of talk around those performances. I mean, Ruben said himself that we've been playing very well, just not quite getting the results.
Yeah, you can see how we played, the sort of manner we played in. A lot of energy. You know, I thought that the Villa game especially, we deserved a little bit more. I mean, that's football. You still have to go there and score the goals and win. But you know, we are playing well. We're playing better, even with obviously the people that have gone away to play for their national teams. But you know, the squad's still there. The energy was there. We just have to be a little bit better concentration. It's as simple as that. It's these little things that, you know, end up being big for us. But we know we can do it. I think the lads are really enjoying doing it at the moment, and hopefully it continues tonight.
I think attacking-wise in recent performances has been quite exciting to see the fact that as soon as we regain possession, we're gone again. It's very, very direct.
Yeah, it was, and I think it starts with the defending. You know, you can see he's hunting in groups, you know, trying to get the ball back early. But like you said, when we have been getting the ball, we've gone for it, you know, and I think that's what we want, that's what we want to see, and I think that helps us. I think it makes us a better team.
Well, let's talk about the games against Newcastle on previous Boxing Days, because it seems to be a team that we face here at Old Trafford quite often on Boxing Day. We'll begin with the game 2012. It ended 4-3 to Manchester United. Do you know who scored in that one?
I have no clue. I will say Rooney.
Not in 2012.
Oh, did he not? No. Go on, you'll have to.
Well, one of your pals, Johnny Evans, was on the score sheet.
Johnny,
in that one. Patrice Evra, Van Persie, and Chicharito.
Well, do you know what? It's a bigger game than you think. This, obviously, when you look at the schedule before the game, before the season starts, you know, you've got your Liverpools, you've got your Cities, you've got your Arsenals, your Chelsea, but you do look at Newcastle as well. You know, I think even before I started playing, it's always been a big game and a game that the fans look forward to.
I guess you look at Newcastle as well, and you don't know what Newcastle side are going to turn up, really, because sometimes in certain games they're really strong, But then in other games, they're there for the taking.
Yeah, if you look at the league, they're just below us, but they're not far off it, you know, and we've had a few ups and downs this season. Last season, they did really well, but they've struggled at times, and I think that's only for our advantage, being at home today. But you can't take anything lightly. You know, when they do turn up, they're a very good team. So hopefully, you know, we think about ourselves, we do everything right, and we can keep the pressure on them.
Going to go to 2014, 3-1. Who's got the goals in that one?
Oh
Come on.
2014, who's got the goals? Chicharito.
No, I bet there's so many people watching this who know they're shouting the answers out.
I wasn't here then.
Rooney got 2, Van Persie got 1.
Well, I said Rooney. I wasn't here then. Van Persie got 1. Yeah. Well, you know, I think first of all, them 2 names speak for themselves. You know, big time players who can score some fantastic goals. But again, another great result at Old Trafford, and hopefully we can keep that going tonight.
You say big time players then. Mason Mount has just walked in. Is he creeping into that category for Manchester United? Now he's having a decent run without injuries. Hopefully can continue in that vein, because he looks like he's enjoying his football again. He looks like he's performing well as well.
He is. He's earned his place in the team. It's as simple as that. You know, he was in and out, but like you said, his injuries, you know, sort of hampered him a little bit. But I think since he's got a consistent run, you can see the quality coming out. He gets in great positions, he's good on the ball, he does all the running, he's defensively very good, and he can score some goals. You know, that's what we need, and like the managers recognised it, and that's why he's in the starting lineup the last few games.
I guess it sounds strange saying this because he is quite young, but he's becoming one of the experienced players in this Manchester United team, because, I mean, look at the bench against Villa. There's a lot of youngsters on there. You see Shea and Jack both coming on, making their Premier League debuts. Could you see any other potential youngsters maybe following in their footsteps tonight?
Well, maybe. Listen, I think you always want the strongest team on the pitch, and obviously we have a few people away at the moment, so the bench is a lot made up of youngsters, but I think it's brilliant. Everybody, you know.
But it's Manchester United, isn't it?
Yeah, every youth team player will want to play at some point. You know, it's an opportunity for them. You have to remember, at that age, yes, you will be nervous, you'll be scared, but you do believe that you've got enough to play. You know, that's why you're here. So it's great that them 2 obviously made the debuts, and hopefully we see more to follow.
Well, what's really interesting as well is that there's a high chance tonight that both Jack and Tyler Fletcher might be in the same squad together in the Premier League, which I was going to say the first time ever for Manchester United, but it's not, is it? Because you've got Fabio and Raphael, who played when you were there, right?
Yeah, unfortunately it's not, but what a great achievement it could be again. Not only for Jack and Tyler, but obviously Fletcher as well.
Yeah, well, you know Fletcher quite well. He's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. You know, it would have been a dream for them since little kids. I've watched them grow up. They've always loved football. So to follow in the father's footsteps would be so good. And you know, what an achievement again. Believe me when I say this, it's a really hard thing to do. But them 2 are young, they're still learning, and they're just got to put everything they can into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just looking at some of the players who are still making their way in, signing shirts, signing posters, getting pictures with fans.
Martinez, I think.
Martinez, yeah. I mean, everyone's going to want his picture, aren't they?
Yeah, listen, everyone's different, and it's brilliant when the lads do stay and sign.
Especially at Christmas.
It is, yeah. And listen, there's a good few that did stay, but listen, you can't sign them all. You've still got to get in.
You'd be here till after the game if you were to speak to everyone who was out.
Obviously, Martinez is doing his deeds today, and obviously Cunha, I didn't see him there. Cunha as well stayed out very long, and it's brilliant for the fans, and that's why they turn up. You know, they want to see the heroes, but for a few of them to stay out a bit longer is perfect.
Our question to you regarding Martinez is, can you see him playing in that midfield role? I know he had to do that against Aston Villa. There wasn't really too much option he could have gone to. But you mentioned about putting your strongest team out from the start. Would he be in and around that position, or if he's fit enough, would you be starting him in the defence?
So obviously you start him in defence, but we've adjusted. You know, when I used to play, John O'Shea would go midfield, Phil Neville could go midfield. All these players they can adjust for a game or two. And I think you can see that his ball control, how calm he is, he can play that role. I'm not saying that's his position, because for me he's a centre-back, you know, but he's very calm, collective, and like I said, he's good on the ball, and as a defender, you know, he can do that side of the midfield, that sort of work that you want him to do. So I'm not saying it's a permanent position, but you know, with players out or players away at the moment, it's an option for the manager.
I absolutely love that you could compare him to John O'Shea, a man who really could play in every position.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Some players can do it, you know. And
could you do it?
I've played midfield once, Ben. That's it. But yeah, I mean, Michael Carrick went to centre back a few times. I think eventually, you know, you get found out a little bit because it's not your nature. You think about Martinez, we think about defending, but at the same time, for a few games to fill in, there's enough when people have got really good control and, you know, the right mindset, they can definitely play different positions.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it'll be interesting to see who plays where this evening. Then the players are inside the stadium, but we can hear from them because they've been answering the fans' questions.
Brian Mbeumo, because he has a big, nice beard.
I reckon like Mason Mount's got a good Christmas jumper, probably a bit stylish.
I would say Harry Maguire, because he's big.
Probably all I want for Christmas.
I want to know how the team deals with all these festive fixtures, because I know it's piling up. And also, who is the best Christmas jumper in the squad?
It's one of the most special moments during the year.
You have plenty of fixtures around Christmas. I think the key to it is making sure you're organised.
We've got a good recovery team and, you know, so good nutrition, so it's all good.
So I think it's going to be pretty special, but my family are going to visit me, so that makes it a little bit more easier.
I think it's just, you sort of see the fans turning up, the weather's cold, and it just makes you want to perform and do better, and obviously with the new facilities and stuff, it makes it easier to recover and get better.
And the best jumper? I haven't seen any yet, probably Tom here, yeah, it's probably him, yeah.
I saw a picture of Dermot, me, with a Christmas jumper, and it was actually horrible, so I'll say he has the worst one. I don't know who has the best one.
I reckon like Mason Mount's got a good Christmas jumper, probably a bit stylish, not your classic Christmas jumper, but I think he'd have a good one.
Who will be the best centre in the squad?
Probably Harry or Tom. Harry or Tom.
I would say Harry Maguire, because he's big and tall, and it will be perfect for him.
The best Santa? I'll go with Brian Mbeumo, because he has a big, nice beard, and he's also a really kind person, so I'll go with him.
I think it's got to be Tom, doesn't it, really? He's the oldest one, he's got kids, I think he'd know what he's doing.
What was your best Christmas present growing up as a kid?
A ball. I only asked for that when I was young, and I think it was one of the best gifts, because when I received it, I started playing football away, so straight away, and with my cousin, with my friends there in the neighborhood, and that was the best gift.
Without being one specific one, generally it was goalkeeper gloves. You know, as a goalkeeper for me, when Father Christmas brought the presents down, I was always hoping there was goalie gloves in there, and it was elation if I opened it up and they were in there. So yeah, for me that's an easy one. It was always goalkeeper gloves.
Probably my PS4 that I got. Must be nearly 10 years ago now, but probably the PS4.
Probably something football related, if I wanted some new boots or like new gloves or a new ball.
Match attacks Christmas morning, so we'd always get the big folder and then get every player, every team, try and fill it out.
Christmas jumper or Christmas hat?
Christmas hat.
Jumper.
Christmas jumper.
Ooh, Christmas jumper.
I go with the jumper. I don't really wear a lot of hats, especially like these ones. They actually look quite nice, but I don't think my head is a bit too big sometimes for hats.
Hi, Nicholas from Norway here. There's a lot of players in the squad who comes from different parts of the world. Won't you tell us about how you celebrate Christmas in your country?
I think Nicholas is exactly right. You have plenty of different traditions and cultures from all over the world where Christmas is celebrated in different ways.
I'm from the UK, so it's not much of a difference. Just wake up on the 25th, open your presents with your family, and yeah, just enjoy it.
In our country, we celebrate with all of our family. My family, for example, we are like 20, 30 people. It's a big family. For us, it's really special. It's a moment to be all together, connected, and positive vibes.
In Belgium, we just, like, for me personally, with my family, we all just get together and have a nice dinner the night before Christmas, actually. So it's also a nice time to see the family again and to have some good times with the ones close to you.
For me, being English, we tend to have, I think, in my career, which is over 20 years now playing, I've been off on Christmas Day, I think only once or twice. So get your head around a bit on training on Christmas Day. But it works quite nice actually. You sort of get a little bit of time in the morning to open presents, come into the training ground. It's obviously a pretty good festive spirit, get the work done. But you're usually home about 12, 1 o'clock.
Celebrate on the 25th, where a lot of other people will do it on the 24th.
What is the best part of the Christmas dinner? Do you give each other presents?
No, it's a good question that actually. We don't tend to give each other presents. I know a lot of places do Secret Santa, but we don't do it here.
Yeah, I think we'll be giving presents this year.
No, we don't tend to give each other presents. Every now and then we might surprise somebody, and hopefully I'll get a couple this year. But no, we don't tend to give each other presents.
Best part of the dinner is probably the pigs wrapped in blankets for me.
Oh, Christmas dinner's good, isn't it? I couldn't tell you. Probably roast potatoes.
100% roast potatoes.
Having dinner with your family is also really nice feeling, because you don't really get, as older as you get, you don't really get together as much because you all have different schedules, but I think that's one of the nicest things as well, having all together on a big Christmas dinner, having a good time, yeah.
I always try to observe the faces of my family and saying to myself, what a moment being in the present and see them really happy,
What's your favourite Christmas songs?
Do love a Christmas song, I have to say, but I think my favourite is Jonah Louie, Don't Stop the Cavalry.
Probably All I Want for Christmas.
Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, that one.
I think one in particular is Home from Michael Bublé, but I think just in general Michael Bublé is one of my favourite artists in this time of the year, so I go with that one.
That one, yeah.
I really like Driving Home for Christmas.
Which player would you most like to travel to the North Pole with?
I think I would go Tom Heaton, because he talks the most, so you probably get a lot of stories out of him. Also, to be honest, I don't know if I can hear his voice all the time, so it's a bit of both, but I'll say Tom Heaton, yeah.
Aiden Heaven, just for pure entertainment along the way.
I will bring with me Manuel Ugarte. I would say, Diogo, Cunha, Case. I think they are so funny, and for sure we want to share an amazing moment there.
Probably a few. Probably Ahmad or Patrick Dorgu. Yeah, one of those two.
Probably have Tyler. Me and Tyler have a good time, but I don't know whether he's ever been up to the North Pole, or might see something different. Me and him have a good time.
If you could choose anything to put in a Christmas cracker, what would it be?
Something that everyone appreciate. I think if you open the cracker and chocolates came out, it'd be a winner. So I'd put chocolates in the Christmas cracker.
I will put a picture. I'll put a picture of all of my family.
What is a Christmas cracker? I don't think we have it in Belgium.
I think the most important thing is you've got to have your hat in there, you've got to have a rubbish joke. And then I think, Joe, when you get the classic, like when you get tweezers or something a bit random, I think they're the best things, or like a little mini pack of cards, or a sort of game you can play around the dinner table. But the hat and the bad joke, they're the main things to keep in there.
So for the first time in a very, very long time, there is only one game in the Premier League on Boxing Day, and it's Manchester United against Newcastle. United dealing with some injury issues as well as absentees due to AFCON. It means that 2 changes are made. Let's run you through the starting 11 now. Senna Lommans continues in goal for Manchester United. Luke Shaw with that unbelievable record of starting every Premier League game as part of the back 3. Aiden Heaven alongside him, and Lisandro Martinez makes his first start since the 2nd of February 2025. Across the middle, Patrick Dorgu, Casemiro back into the side after he returned from a one-match ban, Manu Agate and Diogo Dalot, Mateus Cunha and Mason Mount in behind Benjamin Šeško, who leads the line. Interestingly, for Manchester United, there is a very, very youthful bench. Tyler Frederickson, Jack Fletcher, Tyler Fletcher, Shea Lacey and Bendito Mantato, all named amongst the Manchester United substitutes. He's had to make changes, absentees with injury, including Bruno Fernandes for the first time since May 2024. No Kobbie Mainoo. Obviously, we've got the players away on international duty, and he's made Ruben Amorim the only changes he could, really.
Yeah, I mean, as if losing the players to AFCON wasn't enough. I mean, once they qualified, you knew that was always going to be the risk, and they've gone. But to have another 3 or 4 key injuries on top of that is real tough at a time of the season when games come thick and fast, and you really want to have your maximum numbers available. But I can promise you one thing: Ruben Amorim will not make excuses. You know, this is sometimes how heroes and stars are born in situations like this, when you do have such a youthful bench and somebody could actually make themselves a name this evening.
It's really unfortunate, isn't it, that Kobbie Mainoo isn't available due to that calf injury the moment that Bruno Fernandes is unavailable. It's funny how football works that way. United are going to have to be careful about how they go about this. They're going to have to try and match up Newcastle in midfield, otherwise they could be overrun. I don't think they will be looking at the legs that are in that team, but it's important that they keep an eye on it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, you know, they're up there with the 3 of them in the midfield that Newcastle have with being about the best in the Premier League, and obviously with the pace that they've got on the flanks as well, with Gordon, with Barnes, with Elanga, who we know an awful lot about, then that is something that United will have to switch on to. We know what they are capable of, Newcastle, because we saw it 7 days ago when they you know, sort of tore strips off Chelsea before Chelsea found their feet. We can't afford to let that happen, and I'm sure that'll be something that they've worked on all week.
Not up to me to put pressure on anybody in particular, but it could be a big night for Mateus Cunha. He scored in back-to-back games for Manchester United. He's now the real creative outlet. He's the one that it feels like could make something happen.
Yeah, and in the last couple of games, he's been outstanding. I have to say, he looks like a player that can really terrorise the opponent, any opponent. His power, his pace when he's running with the ball, and then obviously now he's starting to find finishes as well. He will be a key component of how we play the game this evening.
Ben, thank you very much indeed. I'm going to try and catch up with Ruben Amorim, and we'll bring you the Newcastle United team news a little bit later on. In the meantime, let's get you to Sully.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, lads, and welcome to a rather chilly pitchside here at the Theatre of Dreams as the festive music still plays over the public address system, and a warm welcome to Wes Brown and Quinton Fortune. We've been digesting that team news. Wes, Lisandro Martinez back and skippering the team. Your thoughts?
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, he did well when he came on. I know it was a sort of a midfield cameo position, but I thought he might have played a little bit sooner because he's been back, you know, a good 3 weeks now. But great to see him back. Obviously, he's been doing well in training, and the manager's seen a skipper in him in as well, obviously with the absence of Bruno. So fantastic that he's back, and he gives us, you know, I think he gives us a really good base now at the back.
Yeah, obviously the injury problems are well documented, and the players we're missing at AFCON are as well. Who's going to step up in the absence of Bruno Fernandes to be our creator, to be our spark in that midfield?
Well, you look at, you got Mason Mount, you got Cunha, you got Casemiro, and with all the experience Casemiro's got, I think he's got that 5 Champions League that's going to help him through the nice game. But look, I'm looking for everyone else to step up. You can't just depend on one player. Of course, we would love to have Bruno this evening, but he's obviously with the injury. But I'm excited to see how the other players react now, and it brings the team much closer together. And still, solid. We've got enough quality in this team to win this game tonight.
He is going to be a huge loss, Wes, isn't he, Bruno? Because in the 7 Premier League games, he's not started during his tenure at the club. We haven't won any of them, so that's a damning statistic, which we need to put right tonight.
Listen, he's been by far our best player. It's as simple as that. Not just in that time he's been here, but every single game this season. You know, he's the guy that can come up with a goal, an assist. He puts everything in, so we are going to miss him. But like Quinton said, it's time for players to step up now. They've got the opportunity to come in the team and really show what they can do. And I think even when Bruno went off last game, we still were playing well. Yeah. The lads that came in, you know, still have to put the work in, and I'm sure they will. You know, sometimes this is going to happen, so it's time for the lads to really come in and stamp the mark on it.
I know in defence there's been a little bit of a change, and Lenny Yoro's dropped to the bench. He had a little bit of a difficult game last time out. We understand. We love the guy's potential, and his ceiling, as Rio Ferdinand himself said, is huge. So is that a wise move, just to take him out for a little bit and bring in the experience of a World Cup winner like Martinez?
Oh my goodness, if you exactly. Look, with young players, Wes will tell you, you're going to have mistakes. But the good thing is the manager probably spoke to him during the week, tell him, look, we're going to take out the team, but he's learning. And that's what happens with young players. The most important is he's still got the confidence of the manager. We know he's a good player. He's going to be here for many years to come. And these things happen. But as long as the manager got the confidence in him, he should be okay.
Yeah, exactly. The club, the staff, the head coach Ruben always believe in Lenny, as do you from what you've seen, Wes. So, you know, it's just a minor little incident he'll recover from and improve from and learn from.
It's normal, Sully, honestly. Like Quinny said, he's played a lot of games at such a young age. And you're still learning. Everyone sees the ability, the potential. But there's times when, you know, you're going to make some mistakes and you just need to have a little rest. It's as simple as that. Not necessarily for the physical side, but mental as well. A lot of pressure. There was times when I was younger, I wouldn't play a few games. If I'm playing really bad, you're gonna have to. It doesn't mean you're a bad player. You're just taken out for a while. You know.
Did that help you when you were taken out and then went back in? Maybe.
You got angry, but at the same time, you want to show you can get back in. You know, but you understand not everything's brilliant all the time. You know, and your confidence down a little bit, and it just takes a little while to build that back up again. But like I said, he's been fantastic. He's so young. He's been put in. He's done everything you can ask him for. But at the same time, that maybe a little tiredness is coming in. It's just that's all it is. But he'll learn a lot from it. And then now it's time for another player like Martinez, like you said, to take the opportunity, because he'll be thriving to play as well.
And you're happy Luke Shaw remains in the team, and you said earlier, Wes, actually how you thought he's had a really good season. Maybe it's gone a little bit under the radar how consistent Luke's been.
Yeah, first of all, just his injuries, keeping it nice. You know, that's not troubled him. He's kept his head down and he's just done his job, and that's all you want. And honestly, that's the truth. He'll be glad that it's gone that way. I still feel he can still play on the left-hand side as well. You know, a bit further up, but he's had a fantastic season. You know, I don't think anybody would have thought it would have gone this way, but it has.
With Luke, it's very simple. Stays fit, he's the best player. He's the best player by far.
He's a great player when he's
unbelievable,
fit.
But just stays fit, he can do it all.
Another start for Agati in the centre of midfield. Obviously a player who has spent much of the season on the bench because of the form of the players in front of him, but can we start to see a better version of Agati with a bit of a run in the team?
Exactly, and that only comes with game style. Of course he wants to play every week, but when you don't get the opportunity to play every week, sometimes you come into the team, you're expected to perform at a high level. It doesn't happen for you, but the more he plays, we know he's got the ability. That's why he's here. So the more games you get, he'll get fitter, get stronger. The players will understand his movement, he'll understand the runs. He's a defensive midfielder, so his first job is to make sure he protects the back four. And then he's got a little bit of going forward. So I'm happy he's playing tonight. He'll help Casemiro in the middle, because we're going to need it tonight. They got a lot of energy in the middle. So glad for him to play tonight. It's going to help the team get 3 points.
Yeah, big opportunity again for Manuel Agati. Let's hope he takes it. Okay, now the Inside Carrington podcast continues to go from strength to strength and get some really good guests. Recently, we were joined by Tom Heaton, goalkeeper, and this is how that went.
What would you say, when you reflect on your career, is the best thing about being a goalkeeper?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I noticed that both your boys, you didn't push them into goalkeeping, did you?
I'll be honest, no, I didn't. I've literally actively kept them out of goal, if I'm honest. Youth football, like kids football as a goalkeeper, is brutal.